You'll be happy if what? A lot of times it's easy for us to wake up in the morning and be like, I'm not happy with where I live. I'm not happy with my life. I'm not happy with my job. But you never truly figure out what will make you happy. You just sit in that unhappiness. And a lot of times, the real reason why we can't figure out what makes us happy is because when trying to shift your mindset, it's imperative that you question yourself. You question why you're not where you want to be. You question how you're going to get there. You question the action steps that are necessary to take place because you need to answer yourself back and figure out where you started. Where is your baseline so you can figure out how to get to where you want to be. So in this video, I'm going to ask you 10 questions that I want you to answer for yourself to help you change your mindset. So first question, what direction is your life going in? I feel like a lot of people are often confused, right? And sometimes people don't even ask themselves that question. They always start with the changing my life with 6 month video or manifesting my dream life or all these other things. But at this exact moment, what direction is your life going in? And a lot of people may say things such as, well, I don't know where my life is going in. I don't know the direction. You do. I can tell you the direction your life is going in by looking at your bank statements and looking at only a week in your schedule. You figure out that when you look at where you spend the most time and you spend the most money. That is the direction that your life is going in. So you really have to figure out, is your life going up or down? A lot of times people try to make it seem like, oh, well, my life's not really doing anything. It's been chill, it's been calm, so it's going down. I always say in my videos, if you are not progressing, you are probably digressing. It does not mean every single day needs to be jam-packed with doing things. It doesn't mean you need to be tired every single time you hit the bed because you worked so hard that day. But if you look at a month in a bank statement, if you look at a week in a schedule, you can look at the direction in which your life is going in. So I want you to answer the question right now. What direction is your life currently going in? Question 2. Why are you content with your actions but not your reality? So a lot of you may have hopefully looked at your bank accounts and just thought about a week in your schedule, and a lot of people have realized they're not essentially where they want to be, right? For a multitude of reasons. But why are you content with your actions but not your reality? What happens to a lot of people is we get a conundrum in our brains, right? And it actually causes us to feel very stressed and often depressed and sad because we know where we want to be. We know what we want to do. We know the life that we want to live, but that's all in our mind. Our actions do not line up with those things. So our body is literally confused because it's like, girl, how are you sad that you don't have this money? How are you sad that you don't have this life? How are you sad you don't live in this place? But we don't even know how to get there. We haven't even started to get there. And so your body, your mind is literally separated because your mind is solely focused on something. Your mind is like, I want to get this. Every single night before you hit your pillow, you think about your dream life. You go on social media, you see everybody living a dream life and having a hot girl summer, and you want to have that too. But your actions are not doing that. So a question I want you to have for yourself is, why are you content with your actions, but mad at your reality? Because I think that's the question you have to ask for yourself before you keep getting mad at yourself about why you don't have the life that you currently want. Next, does the universe or God trust you with what you want? Depending on whatever you believe in. A lot of times like I said, we get frustrated. I want this life and I want this car and I want all these things, but are you trusted with that thing? Because even myself, right, with starting this whole YouTube thing, I always talk about how I want to get 1 million followers and I want to become a full-time YouTuber and I want to do all these things. But looking at some of my videos, I'm like, I don't think I'm trusted with that responsibility. I think there are things about my videos that I need to adjust. I think there's things about my content that I can get better at. And so I want to ask you, does God or the universe trust you with the things that you want? If $1 million was to be in your bank account tomorrow, if you were to get that dream car, could you even afford the car note? Could you even afford to get an oil change in that car? If you were to live in that neighborhood, could you even afford to go to the nearest grocery store in that area? You get what I'm saying? Things of that sort. I say that to say a lot of times we want these things, but God and the universe do not trust us with them. They're literally sparing you because they know if I was to get 1 million followers tomorrow, I wouldn't know what to do. Even though I really want to get there and I'm working to get there. If a brand was to contact me like, oh, how much do you charge? I don't know. I've only had 11,000 followers. Like, I don't know the jump between 11,000 and 1 million. I don't even know the jump between 11,000 and 500,000. And so I want you to ask yourself when you're frustrated and you're mad, are you even trusted to handle the blessings, the gifts, the life that you want for yourself right now? Another question. Have you ever seen hard work benefit anyone growing up? And this is a question I think is going to affect a lot of people who might come from lower class neighborhoods or single parents or just very um a lot kind of upbringings. I say that to say, growing up, my mom was a single mom, right? She worked really hard. My mom also was what I would consider to be a career student. She had me when she was still in school. She got her associate, she got her bachelor's, she got her master's. And I love my mother to death, but I did not see a benefit of hard work. I saw my mom work day in and day out. I saw my mom not go out. My mom never went out. And it's so crazy because growing up, I always would say, like, my mom's boring. My mom doesn't like going out. And now that I think about it, she was raising kids by herself on a single income. Could she afford to go out while also being a student? And so I think subconsciously, I never saw a benefit of working hard. And don't get me wrong, I love my mom to death and she tried her best and she made it so that we never needed for anything. It wasn't like we needed, food and we never got to eat. It's never like we didn't have shoes on our feet or clothes on our back. But I can honestly say I saw her work so hard and it kind of made me question for what as I got older. And I realized I wanted things to be so much easier. And I realized subconsciously sometimes when things were hard, maybe I did negate from them because it was like, I saw my mom work really hard, and what did she get from that? And I think that's a question that some people have to ask for themselves because a lot of times when we're trying to move forward, we need to sometimes step backwards and ask ourselves, why do we think this way? Why do we feel this way? And that trickles down to so many different things that can affect you when it comes to school, that can affect you when it comes to working out, that can affect you in so many things because growing up, you might have seen your mom be a single mom. You might have seen your grandparents work hard or these people work hard and they still weren't really able to live life. And so in your mind, you're like, you know what? I don't want that to be me, right? I don't want to be in a house all day. I don't want to not be able to go out. I don't want to not be able to travel and live life because the individuals I loved and I cared about, I saw them work so hard and not be able to do the things that I wanted to do. And obviously, that was a different time period. Obviously, things are different. But I think that was a question that I had to really ask myself is, have I ever seen hard work benefit anyone in the way that I wanted it to benefit me? And I realized I didn't. And that was like a very hard question I had to ask myself and come to terms with that I think you also should ask yourself. And the next question, what about your story have you not come to terms with? We all have stories about our life, right? Why am I like this? Why am I like that? Why do I do this? Why do I do that? But one thing I realized is a lot of us haven't come to terms with our childhood. Because if you have, why do you keep telling it? Some people use it as a, thing of armor. I think I did for my childhood, right? My childhood trauma. I would say I'm very independent because when I was younger, this, I was younger, that. I kept telling that story. And when I say telling a story, it doesn't necessarily mean to other people. I kept telling it to myself. I was independent because during my childhood, I had to do this. And during my childhood, I had to do that. And I used it as a shield of armor. Some people may use certain things as an anchor to hold them down. Oh, well, because I come from this neighborhood or because I grew up like this, I can't get these things or things like this don't make sense to me or people like me don't have those things. And we keep telling ourselves these stories. And I had to realize and ask myself, what about this story have I not come to terms with because I keep on telling it? And that takes a lot of soul searching. That takes a lot of inner work for really questioning, why do I keep saying this? Why do I keep using this as a a show. This is why I'm like this. See, because of this. This is why I'm like that. See, because of that. What about that thing affected you? And sometimes you can be honest with yourself. What about that thing that you possibly wish maybe didn't happen? You're not saying that you could change the past because you can't. But I think it's going back and reliving and sometimes revisiting some of our traumas and revisiting that age and revisiting that little boy and revisiting that little girl and understanding they did the best that they could with what they had. But stop treating them like they had it all together. Stop treating them like they went through this and they went through that and that's why I am the way I am. No, you went through this. You went through that. That was you. That wasn't a separate person. So what about you have you not come to terms with? Don't separate the two because that's what I often did when I was younger. It was like this, and, and I didn't realize it, but I separated it. I made it seem like that was a different Shemaya. No, it was me, and it still affects me. And so I had to figure out what about my story that I tell myself, that I use as my identity, that I use as my character, have I not come to terms with? Because if I came to terms with it, I would not keep saying it for everything, for reasons when I'm down, for reasons when I'm going through things. This is the reason why I'm like this, and this is the reason why I'm like that. Stop saying that because it already happened. So, what about it have you not moved on from? And the next question is, you'll be happy if what? A lot of times it's easy for us to wake up in the morning and be like, I'm not happy with where I live. I'm not happy with my life. I'm not happy with my job. But you never truly figure out what will make you happy. You just sit in that unhappiness. And a lot of times the real reason why we can't figure out what makes us happy is because the things that we think are going to make us happy are usually things that are monetary, right? I'll be happier if I can get a new car. I'll be happier if I can get that dress for my birthday. We even say, I'll be happy if I can go on that vacation. And a lot of times we do those things and we get those things, and then we still find ourselves not being happy. So I want you to dig deep inside of yourself and figure out, I'll be happy if what? What kind of life do you want for yourself and which you're happy? Happiness is not waking up every day thinking it's going to be rainbows and daisies. Happiness is at the end of the night, at the end of the week, at the end of the month. You are proud of yourself. You are happy with what you accomplish. You are happy with what you do. A lot of people aren't happy because they go to work every single day and they don't feel like they're making a difference in other lives or their lives. A lot of people aren't happy even sometimes with a car they drive because you don't go nowhere in that car that you truly want to go, that truly makes you happy. A lot of times it's not the specific things that we think are making us unhappy that make us unhappy. It's the life that we live. It's not the bed that we sleep in that sometimes makes us unhappy. It's the person that sleeps in the bed that's making us unhappy. And so I want you to ask yourself, I will be happy if what? Because you always say you're not happy with your life, you're not happy with this. Answer yourself for once. What different has to change in your life that will truly make you happy since you always say you're not? And going off of the happiness, the next question I want to ask you is, would you be willing to wait years for your goals? The reason why I say this is because one thing I've realized in life, and for a multitude of reasons, we want everything the McDonald's effect, right? We want everything hot and ready, fast, just how we want it. But I want you to realize if something would truly make you happy, if something would truly bring you joy, would you be waiting years to get it? Because I truly feel like the things that we truly want take a long time. Even if we talk about getting your body together, right? People always like saying stuff like, oh, get my body together in 30 days and how to transform your body in 30 days or 60 days. Yes, you can change your body in 30 days or 60 days, but most people that you see on social media who have your dream body, who have the kind of, you get what I'm saying, physique that you want, if you scroll all the way down, because I do every time, a lot of them been working out for 2, 3, 4 years until they finally learned how to. There's some people I've even been on their page before. They said they worked out for 2, 3 years, and finally on their fourth year, they finally learned how to get the physique that they wanted. I say that to say, are you willing to wait years for your goals? Because a lot of times, true goals are going to take years. A lot of those microwave goals that we want, the quick goals that we want, are things that are not really going to bring us happiness. They're just going to bring us contentment for the day. I'm content. I got a new car. I'm content. I moved into a new place, right? It's kind of like when you say you're moving to a new place and change your life, and then you just the same person inside the new building. It happens to the best of us. So I want you to ask yourself, are you willing to wait years for your goals? And the next question, why are you in a rush? Now, this is kind of going off the question of, are you willing to wait years for your goals? But just in life, I've realized that about myself. Like, we're such in a rush to go places, even in a car, right? People drive fast in a car, and it's kind of like, to go where? A lot of times you don't really have nowhere to go. And so if you think about it, when I asked the first question, what direction is your life going in? A lot of people are going in a rush to nowhere. That's the crazy thing about it. We're such in a rush that we're doing things so fast, but then when you really look at what you're doing, it's not improving your life. It's actually making your life worse. So if you put the two together, going in a rush, making your life worse, you're going in a rush to make your life worse. And so I want to ask you on a day-to-day basis, when it comes to waking up, when it comes to going to work, when it comes to driving, when it comes to growing on social media, when it comes to getting that job, when it comes, why are you in a rush? Like, why can't, what about it that you have to do everything so fast? Do you think it makes you smarter? Do you think it makes you better than others? What do you think, what reason is for that? I recently watched a TikTok video, and this girl was saying how she was in a rush in school, and right after graduating high school, she went and she got her bachelor's. Usually your bachelor's takes 4 years. I think she got hers in like 2.5 or 3 years, because she did a whole bunch of credits. Then after, she did her master's, and she did that, I think, in like half the time, something to that certain extent. And she was saying, now she's young, she's like 23 years old with her master's or something like that. And or 22, and she was just saying how she wished she wasn't in a rush. And she was like, she missed out on so many opportunities in college. Her friends were going to parties. There were people who were joining, societies. There were people who were doing internships and just really getting to experience the moment. And she was like, she was such in a rush to get everything done that she missed so much in the moment. And now that she's older, she questions, what is the reason for? Because she got the job, okay, she's making the money, but it's like, technically, she probably was going to get the job regardless, right? She had the qualifications for it. She was a good student. She could have got good grades with still being on the regular track as far as how long it took. And so I just want to ask you, what is the benefit of doing everything fast? Because a lot of times there's no benefit, especially when you're learning to change your life and you're trying to change your life. You're going to have hiccups. You're going to have bumps in the road. And when you do it fast, it makes it a lot harder to recover from those things. And the next question, why do they deserve it more than you? I say this because a lot of times when it comes to things that we want to do in life, we often feel like we shouldn't do it because we're not qualified for this thing. And even for growing on social media, for example, like I would see other girls grow on social media and make similar content to the content that I wanted to make. And I would say, oh, well, she has this background, I don't have the background for this, and she's prettier than me, and I would say all these attributes to give to other individuals on why do they simply deserve this thing. And I built up these characters in my heads of individuals. Mind you, I don't know none of these girls in real life, never met them before, don't know their personality, don't know nothing about them, their upbringing, but I looked at the attributes that they had that I didn't, and I qualified that as they deserved it more than me. And one thing that helped change my mindset, and I've talked about this before, is reading biographies. So I recently read a biography from Leslie Jones, a comedian, and Kevin Hart, the comedian. And reading biographies, I was able to see people who came from backgrounds that weren't necessarily the best, right? Because there are certain people I was looking at and I'm like, oh, she got money. Look at that background. Kevin Hart come from the hood in Philadelphia. Leslie Jones comes from the hood and I think somewhere in LA. Okay, well, I lost the background. Look better than me. I'm not talking junk about how Kevin Hart or Leslie Jones look. All I'm saying is that in that category, I just was like, I don't really think, you know what I'm saying? Compare wise, I wasn't judging us all by looks. I'm like, we anyways. I'm like, well, so these people don't look better than me. And then when it came to what they were doing, they did it. They became comedians, right? That was the goal. They did what they said they would do. And so a lot of the attributes that I was giving to other individuals and why they were successful, I couldn't give the attributes to these other individuals that were successful doing something very similar. And I realized there was no reason why they were better than me. Yes, there's some people that may look differently than me, have different upbringings, backgrounds, talk different, walk different from me. But I had to come to terms with the fact that I was scared. I had to come to terms with the fact that I felt like I didn't deserve it because I didn't love myself enough. I didn't trust myself enough with this. I didn't trust myself enough to stay consistent. I didn't trust myself enough to hit my goals and potentially get to where I wanted to be. That was the real truth of it. But I used the excuses of this person deserves it more because they have this, they have that, they have these things. But then when I start reading up on individuals who achieve more, who achieve, and some may even say greater, depending on the context, and they didn't have none of these things. If anything, they had lower amount. They came from quote unquote worse neighborhoods. They came from worse backgrounds and upbringings. And so I was like, so what can I say for them? And the excuses got lower and lower and lower until I realized they were just excuses. So I want to ask you, with the things that you want to do, why do other people deserve it and you don't? Because if they don't deserve it more than you, why don't you start? What's holding you back? In question 10, what is the action step you can take to start going after your goal today? A lot of times we look at things like, I have to pull out this whole schedule and I have to do this whole thing and I have to today. What is something that you can do? Is it going to the store and buying a water bottle? Is it going to the store and buying a planner? Is it an action step? Not watching another video, not listening to another podcast. What is an action step you can do today that will put you in a better direction towards the life that you want for yourself, towards the life of happiness, towards the life of waking up and being like, listen, I'm grateful. I get to do what I love to do. I get to be who I want to be. What is something you're going to do today? And a bonus question, question 11. What is going to keep you consistent this time? What is going to change? I think one thing that messes up a lot of times as well is that we try to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and we never look at what went wrong the last time. What am I going to do differently this time that's going to keep me accountable? What am I going to do differently this time that's going to make sure that I get it done? Instead of repeating the same thing, the same New Year's resolutions, the same goals, the same, what are you going to do different this time that's going to keep you consistent that you did not do last time? So thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope these questions are things that just got you questioning yourself and questioning your mindset and your life and what you want it to be and where you are now and so many other things. Don't forget to go to the caption below because I do have a link to my newsletter. If you want to be updated when I come out with new videos, I also am coming out with a 2024 goals group chat for the next 6 months. If you haven't watched my video on that, I definitely recommend to watch that one. It's just a group chat where we can keep each other accountable, we can motivate each other, so on and so forth. So definitely sign up for my newsletter because you will be sent the link for that. And thank you guys so much for just supporting me and watching my videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do not want to miss another video, because I do post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, make sure you hit the bell so that you are notified every time I post a video. Thank y'all so much and have a great one.